outside.
Little Dirk, free Little Steve, I'll call him Curry. He be to himself, but he'll catch a murder. If Little Tim wasn't paid, someone knew what he was going to do. He was going to pull the trigger. Before they went to the location, they were shooting this music video. It's called The Drop, right? After they did what they did, then he made another track to the end of story. He tried to lie and come out and say that, oh, the title was not from that situation. To prove their self in the street, they even use a London beat for that track. It's a shame. That music is actually part of the situation. Music is the devil. Regardless of artistry, if you choose to participate and represent yourself as being part of a certain group, then you should pay the consequences as being part of that group. If you end up in a situation like they ended up, people that are part of gangs and groups and stuff, they are actually the ones with the intention to kill. And if they are riding around with guns and stuff on them, King Von changed his life from what he used to do back then. He didn't even have a gun on him that day. Why do you think that is? He changed his life. Quando did this interview with All Round TV. He spoke about protecting the brand, and he also briefly touched on the Illuminati. Enough people think that he is possessed by a demon. That's what people have started saying recently after he did that live with Little Tim, and he was just acting all strange, and that's why people started saying that. He talks about how he feels that people are hypocrites and stuff. In Hassan Campbell's words, Little Tim did what he had to do type thing. He actually pointed out a few more things, like why didn't they protect the brand? He tried to make it seem like, oh, he was protecting the brand and stuff. No one is going to make me believe that Little Tim did that for Quando to protect his brand. That's the argument they're trying to sell. As Quando Rondo said in this interview with Angela, Little Tim is the kind of person that be like, you know, ready to do something and all of it. Someone know that's how Little Tim is. The people that he hang around and stuff, they knew about all his friends and everything, what they are like, who's the hothead. They probably watched him and know what he was gonna do if they put him in that situation. He is doing this interview trying to free Little Tim, trying to get him off the case, trying to get him beat the case, basically kind of telling people why Little Tim is out, and sort of telling people the argument they're making in court by saying things like, if he didn't stop, he wouldn't have been where he is, and they were protecting the brand. Little Tim was actually protecting him, protecting the brand and stuff like that. It's just so weird that he's even able to speak on an open case the way he's speaking on it. He spoke about all the threats and stuff that he's been getting, and the stuff that people sent him on a daily basis, and he said that that's all words, like provoking people, and that's where I have a problem. It's like, how is he able to do this? Because this is just not making anything better. This is just making it worse. The cover, you've seen the cover that he did for his previous album. Why do you think he has his hand to his ear and all the people around him's got guns and stuff? Because everyone is telling him that he's gonna die stuff, and he's not hearing it. And he also said that people in the industry and interviewers and stuff, they've been trying to pay him money to talk about King Von and 25k here and all this money here and there. And it's like, this is what I'm saying, the industry is crazy, because if people are going out trying to get him to do an interview to talk about King Von so they can make money off of the situation, that alone goes to show you that that's how it is in the industry. Like literally, like someone, they wait for you to die and stuff, and then they go around and start doing all these interviews with the people, and then the bigger systems and the machines and stuff, they allow it, and that's after they made all the money off of the situation. That's how the system runs. They literally set you up and put you in a place where that happened to you, and then they make all this money off of you, and all these deals come. And he even said that he didn't have any way out. It would have been the grave or in prison. So singing is his life, and he loved singing with all his heart, and that's where him and Little Dirk had something in common, because they both love singing. They both are singers. So now you can kind of get a sort of sense of the relationship. But going back to the Illuminati, when he mentioned them, kind of like gave this weird reaction. So he's sitting there, as soon as the guy mentioned the word Illuminati, he literally looks over and starts smiling at his friends, this weird creepy smile. And then that's when I started thinking, yeah, people probably might be right. He might actually be possessed by someone. And then he's like, oh no, I'm not gonna speak on that. He literally just like did this. Like, what reaction is that? What reaction is this? So that's how I'm like, yes, something is going on. Either he took part in it before, either he known people that took part in it, like, and he probably knows something at this point. That's why he gave the reaction he gave. I don't think he was trolling, but I think he probably knows exactly what happened when it comes to the sacrifice. All that, he knows about all that stuff, and he believes in it as well, or as he would have been like, oh, none of that stuff is true, I don't believe that stuff. And he would have probably tried to say something else, kind of give a different point of view on it, you know, but he didn't say that. He literally started smiling, and then he just shook himself out of it, which is really, really weird. Like, you know, like the interviews that some people have managed to put together, where all these celebrities are like twitching and they're like shutting down, and some say they're reprogramming and stuff like that. That's the kind of vibe I got in that moment. It was literally just so weird. It was like the weirdest thing. He probably could have been trolling. That probably could have been a question on the list that he knew the guy was going to ask him, because remember, when they do these interviews, they give them a list of questions and they are allowed to answer what they want and not answer what they want. So that could have been one of the questions that Quando Rondo knew was on paper. So he literally came up with this reaction behind the scenes to, to like throw people off and make people think all of that, so people can start talking about this. And right now, some people can start talking about the Illuminati and stuff. People can start talking about the Illuminati and stuff. Or it can just be a case where that actually happened 100% genuinely, or he took part in it before. He knows exactly how it works, and that's why he was literally smiling and stuff, because he said, yeah, he's the chosen. And the crazy thing is, everyone in the industry knows what he's doing, knows what he about, knows what they've probably done for the fame and stuff that they've got. I saw this message right here, and I saw this tweet right here. Little Doug did not have a part to play in Little Jojo's death. They actually did that to profit and make money out of the situation. That's why they tried to relate themselves to it. That's why they tried to basically pin it on them and said that they did it. So they actually did that kind of stuff before. Got someone where literally someone else got someone, and then they tried to take a bid for it and came out to the public and said that, and then they were making all this money off of the situation because people were actually thinking that they did it. Most of the stuff is all signs and the chains and all of it, and the hairstyles, the hair colors, everything means something. And that's why Quando Rondo had that reaction, because he knows that people are part of it. The triangle sign, all of that stuff that you see in the industry, it's signs, and it all works and it all comes together when they take part in these sacrificial rituals and stuff. And that's what happened recently, and that's why you have Little Tim and Quando Rondo going on live laughing, smiling. Little Tim's eating, he's showing that he's making money, he don't really care. All this money is coming in. Little Dirk not saying anything because money is changing him, because all this money is coming in. He's trying to, milk the situation by not saying anything about King Von and let all the money come in, and he's trying to create generational wealth, and that's what it's about. And that's where the sacrifice comes in, because he basically sacrificed King Von for fame. Now they're all trying to pay Quando Rondo all this money to talk about what happened to King Von and talk about situations to where they can now make money off of it. And guess what? If he don't do that and talk to certain people and certain interviews and stuff and do certain interviews, then those same people would be after him. That's one of the reasons why he had to literally do an interview with the Breakfast Club, because he knows that obviously they will be after him, like they did to some of the other people in the music industry, where they asked them for interviews and they didn't do it with them, and then they start doing all the stuff to them and putting out all the stuff on their name and start playing their music on the radio and everything, and try to make them look bad and put them in a bad light, because they're not able to make money off of certain situations.